What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And fresh off the heels of the Commanders' victory over the Giants, I figured what better time to come in and take a look at some Jayden Daniels All-22 film from the game. Not a perfect game by any means from Washington. You know, they didn't even score a touchdown, but they got the win. Something they haven't been able to do against New York consistently for a long time, maybe ever. But getting past, you know, Brian DeBull and the Giants, they've beaten Washington 4 times in a row. You know, as a fan, it feels good to see them kind of, you know, get over that hump. Lots of things obviously left to fix. That said, let's just hop right into the film. Now, I'm not going to go over every single play like I did last week. That episode ran on for way too long. Took way too long to get edited. Took way too long to get out. So this week, we're only going to hit selective plays. The very first play here. Now, while this play will go down officially as a sack, there is much more to this one than just what reads in the box score. Daniels actually is able to avoid losing a lot more yardage than they did on the play, as you see right here. I don't know how he got away. That definitely should have been a loss of 6-7 yards there. Just a breakdown and blocking scheme here, and the Giants, a really well-timed blitz right up the gut. And yeah, I mean, really, honestly, he did everything but sack the quarterback. And Jayden was able to get away from him, which is another ability of Daniels, which I feel like, you know, is something that we've gone over at length already. But man, it's like almost like he's got a little bit of magic in there. He's able to get away and slip the pocket. Obviously, he ends up losing a yard. So as I said, this goes down as a sack. But officially, this is one of those plays where he went like, you know, 20 yards to lose one, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how he was able to slip that, but he was. And I really do believe that should have been a penalty there at the end, too. I don't really understand the selective calling of hits to the quarterback, especially the ones out of bounds, and just out of bounds in particular for all players. I mean, how is this not seen as out of bounds right here? Like, look at that. How is that not seen as out of bounds? The hat was put on him. I guess technically you could say that he started trying to make the hit as JD starts to go out of bounds before JD's foot actually hits the ground. So there's where the foot's not even hitting the ground yet, but the defender technically hasn't hit him yet either. But yeah, he hits him right there. That's my thing. Like in that half second right there, could he have pulled up? I think probably so, man. As you can see, big truck meets little truck, as Howie Long said on their little halftime thing, whatever yesterday, and which I thought was an interesting comment because yeah, it always rings true. Big truck beats little truck, and he runs into him late there. Should have been a flag, wasn't one. I guess the way that the official, who is right there, by the way, I guess the way he's looking at it is that he was already in the motion before he went out of bounds. I don't know. The Washington coaching staff was pissed, as you can see. They should be. He definitely hit him after he went out. That's definitely after, y'all. Now, I realize that it's something that I'm going to have to get used to, but I am still not used to having a quarterback who basically is a running back, okay? I'm still not used to that, so you'll have to bear with me while I get used to this, especially a light running back. But this guy, I mean, how could you tell him that you don't want him trying to escape the pocket with the things that he does, right? He really is something special to watch coming out of that backfield and picking up those extra yards. But I will always be worried that there's something going to happen to him until the day that either he learns how to go out of bounds or slide right there. I mean, I get it, the duck it inside right there. The way that the averages of everything are, maybe like 2 out of every 10, he could end up breaking for a long run right there. But in the NFL, hits like that, you know, combined with the one that I'm going to look at here in a second, you know, could be one that put him on the shelf. Maybe not for his whole career, but one that put him on the shelf for extended amount of time, you know? You watch it back this direction, and yeah, I mean, he doesn't see anything. The play itself, that pocket was collapsing quickly because, as I've already pointed out, Dexter Lawrence is a complete mammoth beast. And honestly, there's no way that you're going to stop him for the longest amount of time. You really have to get your play off because he's going to create havoc no matter who's over there blocking him. And he, you know, Already does a pretty good job of trying to stop him. But yeah, he gets through there, and Jayden does the right thing by going through the pocket. You know, cutting back, I get he makes a couple guys miss, but then he doesn't give for the guy coming in behind him to make the hit. All in all, it's a great gain, you know, and it's something that I think with time he'll probably get better at doing right here. I just think he just needs to do better at defending himself as far as getting to the ground. If he's not going to be a player that slides, then, you know, I just want to see him try to protect himself the best way that he possibly can. And I know a lot of people think that I'm trying to coddle this kid, or that I think that quarterbacks should be coddled, but I really don't. I just think that I would rather this kid takes, you know, a little bit more thought into his health for the future, so that we can have him beyond his rookie contract. You know, I see flashes of what he can be. He's got some greatness in there. I see that. I see Randall Cunningham with better wheels. That's what I see. I'm not quite so sure if the cannon arm that Randall had in the clutch is there yet, because we haven't really had a chance to see him let it loose. But in college, he was able to do that. What I'm worried about is him getting hurt before that. And plays like the one, you know, right here, it's kind of hard for the other side of the argument to stand up and say, well, you know, he can protect himself better by just falling to the ground like a normal running back, or whatever the case may be. Sliding's not going to help this guy. And then you see a play like this happen where he full-fledged gets just nailed by a guy that should not be hitting our quarterback. And, you know, the thought pattern starts to shift a little bit. You start to think back to the way that I was talking last week. Like, you know, this guy needs to learn to find a way to get down on the ground. If he's not going to slide, then he can't be taking hits like that. Like, that's just not something that a guy with his frame, even honestly, really, we shouldn't even be expecting him to do something like that. Like, and you see that he feels the guy to the left of him, sticks his hand out, stiff arms him, you know, and actually that's kind of effective. But the problem is that then he's paying attention to the guy to the left of him, not really paying attention to the guy to the right of him. Or, you know, just, you know, momentum is what momentum is, and he takes a nasty little hit to the side right there. You watch it back again in real time. I mean, it's a nasty hit to the side. I'm certain that he's feeling the effects of that this morning, or he was this morning. This play right here is just, in my opinion, a case of him not pulling the trigger when he probably should have. I mean, it's a split-second kind of thing, so I'm not trying to second-guess him on this play right here. But when the play starts off, you can just see that instantly, boom, right there. Now, there is a defender in the area, but he's heading the other direction. And this defender is standing there, but with the zip that JD has on his passes, there's no doubt in my mind that he can get it off and make that play work. Now, you see him kind of stutter step off to the side over there to McCaffrey, but he sees, you know, that there's a defender over here that's got an eyeball on things. I don't know why he didn't pull the trigger here. My guess is that he saw this man and thought, okay, well, maybe this is a bad idea, because he has a clear line of sight right here to the guy, so he knows he's there. And, you know, you see him instantly reset, and right there, he's there. There's his man right there. But he's actually looking over at Diami in the moment, and then he sees this man right here, number 97, Dexter Lawrence, open up on the defensive line, and he does what he should do at that point. Probably should have released it when he had that split-second moment right here, but he does what he has to, and that's take off. Otherwise, he's bait otherwise. But you watch it back from this direction, and you see it right about there. Like, I mean, he's actually right there. He sees it. I'm not all too certain why he doesn't pull the trigger right here, because he sees him right here. And it's, you know, it's second down right here. So this definitely, he should have let it loose right here to Ertz. And you see him kind of look over to Diami, and by the time he looks back around, it's too late. Has to do what he has to do, which is take off to the right, and he does not gain anything. In fact, he loses a couple yards. Now this play right here was actually a beauty. Ertz went up and made a really good 50-50 catch. And honestly, the defender probably got the ball, but Ertz was able to fight it back and bring it down. You definitely have to watch this one, you know, in real time to start with here. And Daniels sticks in the pocket there and takes a hit. You watch it back from this direction, you could really see the hit that Daniels takes from Thibodeau over there on the side right there, who actually had a really good game. I said before the game that I wasn't too impressed with him, and then he comes out and has a really good game against us. But he put a nasty little hit on JD there on the backside, and Burns actually had made it through on the other side over there. So JD actually was getting closed in on two different directions while they had Lawrence up here double teamed. The offensive line was doing a pretty good job on this play right here of trying to protect the quarterback. The reason I said Thibodeau was a bit overrated to me was because he's full of talent. He just hasn't, you know, been able to roll that over onto the field. As you see right there, there's actually a beautiful rip move he made right there. And yeah, he was just a second late, but you see the pass come off, and you see Zach Ertz come down with that. I mean, honestly, at the point of the ball coming down right here, I do believe that the defender had that ball to start with. As you see, he just reaches in and grabs it. I mean, it's debatable because of this angle right here. You can't really tell, but it looks like the defender grabs it right at the same time Ertz puts his hands on it. And Ertz has the stronger hands of the two, and he's able to pull that in. When they hit the ground there, though, yeah, it looks like the defender actually has the ball right there when they hit the ground. So I don't, you know, I'm just glad to see that at the end of the day, the refs didn't screw us over on this particular play, right? And as you see, they were fighting for it all the way to the end there. You know, when I saw this during the game, I wasn't sure what the hell had just happened. But I believe that he was supposed to grab the ball on this play and just kind of tap it to the wide receiver. I've seen this play executed plenty of times before, and I've seen him execute it on his film. It just looks like, I don't know, when he goes to do it, it just didn't work, or I don't know if that's purposely or what happened there. The ball, he kind of bobbles it a little bit in the process, and I don't know if that was intended to be a fake to begin with, and then it threw the play off when he bobbled it, or if he was supposed to give it to Zacchaeus, you know, all the way around to begin with, and him bobbling it meant he had to suck it back in. But whatever the case may be, it ended up as a busted play, and honestly, it could have gotten a lot worse than it turned out right here, which was just like a 2-yard loss, I believe. I'm thinking that was definitely a busted play. I just don't know which direction it was supposed to have gone. By the setup of the play, it looks like it probably would have worked better if it had gone to the left. I don't know what. Look at Coleman there. What the hell is Coleman doing? Coleman misses his man altogether. Like, what are you doing there, Coleman? You guys see that right there, Brandon Coleman? The way that Coleman is reacting to that guy right there makes me think that he believed the ball was going the other direction. I believe this play right here is a firm example of him getting happy feet and leaving the pocket too soon. Now, before you argue with me, watch the man down here on the bottom as he comes wide open. That's Dyami Brown. And JD is leaving the pocket as Dyami. See, look, he's starting to leave the pocket right there. JD starts to move in the pocket as Diami's breaking away right here. Look at this. This defender's coming this direction. This defender's going this direction. Diami's breaking back this way. There's nobody within, 4 yards of him right there. Now, Daniels is kind of locked in over there on Terry, who the safety's already looking over at to begin with. And if you look in the middle of the field, the linebacker has Luke McCaffrey, which that's actually probably a little bit of a mismatch right there. And JD takes off. Now, honestly, the line actually had their guys, but maybe he was feeling a little bit of pressure there from the left. I'm not certain. This angle really doesn't show it as well. But, yeah, he just tries to juice through that little hole right there, and it doesn't work. My guess is that he was worried that, I guess, is that Jason Pinnock right there? He was worried about him coming on the blitz right there and Eckler not picking him up effectively. And that's why he took off. But, yeah, as we've seen from the other direction, he wasn't even looking at Diami. If he had looked at Diami over there on the right, he would have saw Diami is wide open right now, breaking. And if you watch it from the eye in the sky right here, you'll see when 2 breaks open right there. And you know, JD is already under duress at that point. So technically speaking, it's kind of hard for him to be able to do anything when you're already under duress. But he has the little pocket right there, just a section of time where he could do something right there, and it just doesn't happen. This is where he's got a little bit of growing to do as an NFL player from where he was in college. The speed of the college game is a little different than the NFL game. This play was here for him to see, but I'm not so certain he was really paying attention to it. He was paying more attention to what Terry was doing up there. This play right here actually ended with a really nasty, and I mean nasty, shot to Terry McLaurin. Watch it right here in real time, and this is the better angle. He gets his head knocked right there, and he hops right back up. I have to give it to Terry. Terry is tough as friggin' nails, but the ball was right there in his hands. It was definitely a play that he was going to make before that hit, and then the ball comes, flying out. Like I said before, with the way that the rules have all changed, they really have added some gray areas of interest for me with these hits right here, because to me that looks like a shoulder shot to the head. So if you're calling all of these penalties with shots to the head or to the helmet, I'm not certain how in that kind of world or in that kind of area of life how this penalty right here would get missed. But hey, it is us, right? On this play here, he makes the correct read, I believe. Once you see right as the wide receivers get to their spots, Terry is the most open. It's just a little bit inaccurate, and Terry's not able to make the catch. He did try to throw that in a spot where nobody else could get it, and it just hit the ground before Terry was able to make the catch. If you watch it back from this angle, you'll see the ball's actually there, and it looks like Terry actually might have had trouble bringing it in before he hit the ground, and then it comes out. He makes the correct call on this play right here to take off, because there is nobody open at the point that he needs to let go of the ball with that defensive line bearing down on him. And this, in my opinion, is the reason why you would want your quarterback to be mobile, is to escape situations like this when you have, multiple Giants defenders break their blocks at the same time. Look at that. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, all 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of them have broken their blocks at that point. And JD springs the pocket. He has no choice. He has to leave it. That was just a breakdown completely. Thankfully, he didn't take a hit on the way out. Yeah, you watch it back from this angle, and you just see that they just lose their blocks like all at the same time. Like nightmare scenario, y'all. Look at that. Like when you see that, you have no choice but to take off. Like look at that right there. Like he's over here looking for the open man. None of the receivers have had hit their break yet. None of them are even in the spot where they're in a spot for him to be watching. And he has that many white jerseys breaking at him. No choice at all. He has to take off. I mean, props to him for being able to gain a couple yards on that. I enjoyed watching this play as it, happened on the TV, and great play. Great to see him roll out of the pocket, hit his man open in the middle of the field. What's even better is to watch it back and see that he had a couple of different options. Obviously, he's going to the right, so Brian Robinson really isn't a real option, but he's wide open down here because obviously, the defense is saying, hey, nobody's going to throw him to him with the quarterback rolling that way. But then you got McCaffrey right here who's open, and you got Zach Ertz right here. So you got a short man, decent little check down route if this one's not open, but it is open, and they're able to get it done. I mean, that's a good little chunk of yardage right there. I like the addition that Zach Ertz has been to this offense so far. Obviously, we're not that far into the season yet, but it's good to see him doing things. And one of the things that I loved about JD was his ability to throw the ball on the run. The problem, I thought, was that in some of his film, you know, it seems like when he starts to move off of his spot, when he's pushed off his spot, or when he has to move off his spot, that the first thing he looks to do is to try to read the field as a runner. I realize that's in his instincts, and I realize that that's just a read and react type of thing or scenario, whatever. It's just good to see him use the ability that I know that he has. I mean, look how skilled this kid is. He can roll off to the side and just flick the wrist, and it's a perfect pass to his guy, you know, in the wide open flat right there. It's not underthrown, which would have led to a freaking interception. It's not overthrown, which may have led to an interception. It's right on the dot, and it's him coming off, you know, rolling out of the pocket there, throwing off of 1 foot, and, you know, he definitely makes the right play. Another good read on this play right here to Noah Brown. You know, he definitely has his eyes on him from the moment the play starts. Although you see him kind of pump fake there to Dyami Brown right here on this side over here. But that little pump right there actually opens it up across the middle, which I believe was the real play. And he makes a nice throw there. Even though it's pass interference, you can instantly see it right there as the defender reaches out and grabs Brown as he's trying to come across the middle. And he still makes the catch. Great pickup there, though. If he hadn't have held him, he probably could have picked up a lot more there, though, because he had that man beat. And the safety over there, he was kind of crossing up a little. You know, Noah Brown maybe doesn't have the afterburners that maybe the Terry has, but he definitely would have had a decent little game. Can't really see the pass interference here on this angle, although you can see Brown reacting to the play, but you could definitely see JD's pass there. Really good one too. This is one of those plays where it's like, oh man, he just missed that one, you know. Dyami had a little break. He lofted it just a little bit too much. Yeah. You watch it back from this angle and you'll see, yeah, just a little bit too much. You hate it that Dyami makes the catch too, but yeah, instantly you knew that he didn't make it because, yeah, there it is. And again, with pressure coming off the edge over there by Thibodeau, Daniels is able to stick into the pocket, try to make that play, even though he takes a pretty nasty hit. I have to give him some credit there. He definitely was not scared to stand there and make his throw. Zacchaeus was also open here, but in my opinion, you have to take the shots when they're there. You know, there's also another one right here he could have perhaps taken coming across the side right here, but you know, it is what it is. He took his shot. Man couldn't come down with it. I was impressed with Zacchaeus' ability to actually make this catch right here. I always love going back and watching. It's like there's 1 foot and then the drag. You know, when I first saw this play, I was like, oh man, because I thought it was going to be a touchdown. I really did. But watching the film back here, I'm not so certain that Dyami Brown was the intended target here and could be the reason why this play didn't work. If you watch McCaffrey and Jayden, they seem to be kind of on the same page here. And then Dyami kind of steps in and, yeah, did Dyami mess that play up, y'all? Like, watch it back in real time. Watch this. Hold on, let me get back before he lets go of it. But watch it back in real time. Did Dyami screw this up? I think he might have. I really think that he might have screwed that play up. If Dyami cuts back across and goes that direction, you end up with McCaffrey over here by himself. That should have been a touchdown. I mean, obviously, Dyami's just moving towards the ball and trying to stay open, which, by the way, he was, but couldn't make the catch there. It looks like the defender got his hand in there. I can't really tell by the way that happened right there, if the defender got the hand in there or if that he just couldn't bring that one in. Look, after the play's over, you can see McCaffrey pop up like, bro, what are you doing? That's my route. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, I was wide open here. Come on, let me give you a hand. You see what I'm saying, though? Like, watch him. He's like, hey, that was me. That was a touchdown, bro. That's 6 points. I really think that Brown could actually be, you know, that taller receiver option that maybe Washington was definitely in need of coming into the season. I like what I've seen from him, although I've seen that he also has a couple issues here and there with having a dropsies. If you watch this in real time, he runs a hell of a little double move there and makes the defender lose him right there at about the 40, 42 or 43. Watch it in real time. He just yep, and then makes that catch. I think he believes that he wasn't touched right there and he took off running. But if you watch back from the film, you can see that he touches him on his side right there, it looks like. I also like to see that these two are building a nice little relationship between the two of them. At this point in the game, they've gotten to him a few times and they've spooked him. And when they come around the edge over here, his pocket starts collapsing and he feels like he has no other choice but to escape it. He probably makes the wrong choice right here in trying to shoot in between the gap right here. I think maybe heading to the outside probably would have been the better place to run. But again, we're dealing with split-second decisions here. His idea was he could come through here. It is what it is. Maybe if he had cut that direction, he'd had a little bit more running room. But in the long run, this ended up being just a small little run. The way I'm going to look at it is at least he avoided getting sacked altogether and losing a whole bunch of yards. I really don't like seeing him taking a lot of hits, though. I really don't like seeing that. This play here, he had a man who had a little bit of a step over here on the edge. He just threw it in the dirt there. I don't know. It happens, man. It's like nobody's perfect, but yeah, the ball just hits the dirt there instead of his receiver's hands. Now, in this next play, Daniels actually has options about where he can put the ball, and that's a good thing. I always love to see when our young quarterback has options down the field. You'll see right here that Brown's opening up across there, but you also see up here on the side, McCaffrey is also opening up. It's good for him to have multiple options of what he can do. He hits Brown across the middle because it's there. It's also good to see the pocket form around him and keep him protected to the point of where he's able to find his man, and he doesn't take a hit afterwards either. He's able to find his man, boom, down the field. Now in this play right here, he damn near breaks this one. He steps out at like, what is that, like the 11? But man, if Zach Ertz would have held this block here at the end, this had touchdown written all over it, y'all. Like, watch there at the end. Like, as the play starts to develop right there at the end, Ertz misses his block right there at the end. If he puts that man on the ground, that's a touchdown. You see that? That's a touchdown if he puts that man on the ground. And the reason I say that is instead of having to deal with that guy, he could have just cut up. He ended up having to deal with that guy, and then Thibodeau's able to make a move around and actually tackle him. The speed that JD has, he could have outran everybody around that edge and been off to the races with this man right here. Still a decent gain nonetheless, but yeah, that could have been a touchdown. Now this last play I'm going to look at is a pass to Eckler out of the backfield, but the reason why I want to look at it is the end of it. The way that Eckler explodes at the end of that play. Like, when I saw that play in real time during the game, I couldn't hit rewind because I was watching it on Stream East because I have to watch a stream here. But look at that, y'all. Like I really think maybe Eck was thinking about trying to hop over dude, and dude tried to like meet him and got doinked, yo. Like look at that, man. Like, dude gets doinked, boof, to the ground with you. At the same time, I kind of chuckled because was Eckler really trying to jump over both of them? Like, it was really good to see the team come out and win a game. Thankfully, they signed another kicker, right? They got rid of the one that didn't do his job the week before. I would have felt a lot better about this victory had they put a touchdown up on the board. But as you've seen from the film, they probably should have had at least 2 touchdowns. But that's just looking at, the Dyami Brown play where he came down out of bounds, and then the Dyami Brown play where he kind of skidded and jumped in front of Luke McCaffrey and couldn't bring the ball in, I still think that McCaffrey would have caught that, and that probably would have been 6 points. But, you know, here we are. They hit all those field goals, and they did win the game. I think there, should be some concern about getting in the end zone, but not enough to where they freak out and start trying to change things or really go away from what's working. Stick with what's working. I think as the weeks go by, one after the other, you're going to see Daniels get more and more comfortable with the players he has, with the speed of the game, with the system. I think you'll start to see a noticeable difference. Hopefully, a noticeable difference in as many times as they get in the end zone. And don't get me wrong here, I am definitely not upset at the day that Jayden Daniels had. I believe he was 23 of 29 for 226 yards. It was a 99.1 rating, which I don't know whether to look at those ratings anymore and actually say, is that a stat that we should be looking at anymore? Because I see QBR now, and QBR can be up or down, and it doesn't really even correlate to what I consider would be a good game a lot of times. But he also had 10 carries for 44 yards and, the longest one, I believe, of 14 yards. And the problem, of course, was I believe he was sacked quite a few times as well. And I never like to see my quarterback take unnecessary hits. I don't care if it's Jayden Daniels or, if it was Sam Howell. I never like to see my quarterback taking unnecessary hits. I realize that we're in a new era of football, or we're in this era of football where the mobile quarterback is pretty much an every, team thing almost. Like every quarterback has at least a small amount of mobility to him. But a guy like, Jayden Daniels has a massive amount of mobility to him, and it would be wrong not to take advantage of that. The guy is a game changer. So I'm all for trying to find more ways to take advantage of that skill set. I just don't want to see him get hurt. That's all. I think that Washington fans should be completely excited about having a player like this. Anybody that's trying to down talk this kid, I get it. He doesn't meet the normal standard of, this guy, he's a Manning. He's going to sit in the pocket, 30 times a game and do nothing but make, this read and this read and this read. And, it is what it is, man. The type of football has progressed. It has evolved. This guy, I think, is definitely, almost like a prototype of what is still yet to come. It's what football has evolved into this. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if he had more meat on his bones, but I could be made to at least be pacified and happy in knowing that I see that he does things to protect himself. Because in my opinion, the success is going to come no matter what. But at any rate, do me a favor, y'all. Reach up there and hit that thumbs up. I've been noticing kind of a downward trend on people not really hitting the thumbs up. I guess it's because I don't come on here and instantly the first thing that comes out of my mouth is to tell y'all to subscribe and like the content and to tip it if you can, or to leave me a tip if you can. I guess that's the reason I don't get an overload of those kind of reactions. But you guys are free and open to do all those things if you'd like. I mean, all tips are definitely welcome. But anyway, let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. Y'all take it easy. Peace.